Are you someone who's deciding whether or not to go to medical school late in your college career? Are you someone who didn't take the traditional pre-med route in college? Are you curious about the challenges you might face when making the decision to go to medical school later than usual? If so, this video is for you because I'm going to be talking about my experience deciding to go to medical school later than usual, the challenges I faced, and how I've navigated some of these challenges. Hi, my name's Joe McGrath, and I'm a mentor at MedLife Mastery. I'm currently a second-year medical student at the University of Minnesota. I was a finance major at Boston College, and I didn't make the choice to pursue medicine until right before the start of my senior year. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what it's like to make that decision later than usual. Making the decision to go to medical school late in your college coursework or after graduating is absolutely possible, though it brings with it a unique set of challenges. I divide these challenges into two types: administrative or educational challenges, and then challenges associated with opportunity cost. The administrative and educational challenges I faced as a result of deciding to go to medical school later than usual were figuring out how to finish my prerequisites, getting letters of recommendation, particularly from my science professors, and then preparing for the MCAT with very little guidance. Given that I was a finance major, I needed to figure out how I was going to get the necessary prerequisites that I needed for medical school. Since I had a biology minor, I already had some of my prereqs completed, and I was able to complete my general chemistry and physics prereqs during my senior year of college because I decided on medical school right before senior year started. However, in order to complete my biochemistry and organic chemistry prereqs, I needed to enroll part-time at the University of Minnesota, which is in my home state. This wasn't too much of a hassle, though it was a little weird to take classes with sophomores or juniors in undergrad when I'd already graduated. If you need to finish any prereqs after graduating, my advice would be to find a university where you can complete these prereqs cheaply, such as an in-state school. Another challenge was getting the necessary letters of recommendation that I needed, given that prior to my senior year, I had never anticipated needing any letters, and so I hadn't gotten to know many of my science professors very well. Though it was slightly awkward at first, I approached some of my favorite biology professors my senior year and explained my situation. We agreed to meet a few more times over coffee so they could get to know me better, and subsequently write a solid letter of recommendation for me. If you've already graduated from college and need letters of recommendation, I wouldn't hesitate to reach out to professors you had during undergrad. You can always schedule phone calls or Zoom meetings with them so they can get to know you better. In my experience, most professors are more than happy to help. The last educational challenge I faced was preparing for the MCAT with very little outside guidance. My key for doing this was to find as many online videos as I could about the process, and then to subsequently make a decision on the third-party resources that would work best for me. In my case, this was using the Princeton Review book set in conjunction with AAMC practice passages and exams. You can use a similar method, but you need to make sure you choose the resources that you think will work best for your particular study style. You don't have to do it alone either. MCAT Mastery has fantastic and affordable one-on-one private tutoring sessions and MCAT strategy courses that can pay huge dividends as you prepare for the MCAT. While navigating prerequisites, letters of recommendation, and MCAT prep was difficult, the biggest challenge I've had in choosing to pursue medicine late was getting over the opportunity cost. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the term opportunity cost, it's effectively what you give up when you make a particular decision. One aspect of this opportunity cost was the fact that I was going to receive a finance degree and could easily have gone and worked in corporate finance, private equity, investment banking, etc. Choosing medical school, I was effectively foregoing this potential income with full knowledge that I wouldn't be making a substantial amount of money for at least another 8 years and would also have to be paying for medical school. From this standpoint, I needed to make sure the decision made sense for me from a financial perspective, and I always advise people considering medical school to think about this aspect of the decision. While I decided to attend medical school prior to graduating college and starting a career, I do have a few friends in medical school currently who worked within a corporation for several years before attending medical school. Similar to my experience, they've told me how difficult it was to give up their reliable income stream. Another aspect of the opportunity cost was the fact that basically all of my good friends were pursuing careers outside of the medical or healthcare space. As a result, many of them have been taking frequent vacations and buying homes while I sit in school and study. While taking vacations and buying a home are both things that are possible to do while in medical school, they're certainly more difficult given the lack of income and time constraints associated with the busy life of a medical student. Now, at the end of the day, everyone who attends medical school, whether they decided on medicine early or late will have some friends who are working in a field outside of medicine, and as a result, are able to lead a very different life. However, from my own experience, I would argue that this effect is magnified in those who choose to pursue medicine late. In my case, almost all of my good friends were in the business school because I was a finance major. Many of these same friends are now working in finance while I'm in medical school, and while I do my best to avoid thinking about it, there's definitely times when I compare myself to these friends and wonder what my life would be like had I chosen to pursue a career in finance. The comparisons I make between myself and my friends, as well as the thoughts of what could have been, could I be having more fun right now, have a house, be married, etc., can create a lot of stress and a unique set of mental health challenges. For me, the key to overcoming many of these has been to fall back on my why, the reason I chose to pursue medicine in the first place. The last aspect of the opportunity cost associated with choosing to pursue medical school later than usual was the loss of independence that I otherwise could have had if I had worked a finance job. This loss of independence stems from two sources: a lack of a stable income stream and being treated as a student while in medical school as compared to an adult in the workplace. The lack of a significant and stable income stream meant that I had to rely much more on my parents after graduating from Boston College than I ever thought I would have to. While this hasn't been the worst thing in the world, it definitely makes me feel a little less mature, as the vast majority of my friends are out on their own and fully self-sufficient. Being treated as a student for another 4 years is another way in which I lost independence that I otherwise could have had. Even though students in medical school are older, we are still treated very much as students as compared to fully fledged adults. In the workplace, you are expected to be an adult from day one. Again, this hasn't been the end of the world, but since I entered undergrad planning to only go to school for those 4 years and then enter the workforce, it has been a bit frustrating to continue being treated as a student. This lack of independence and feelings of being treated like a student as compared to an adult are something all medical students experience, no matter when they made their decision. However, for those that envision themselves working a full-time job right out of undergrad, or actually did work a full-time job, I think the lack of independence is even more frustrating. In this talk, I've discussed the challenges I faced due to making the decision to pursue medical school later than usual and how I navigated some of these challenges. I think this can be very useful for you if you're someone who decided on medical school late and is curious about the challenges you may encounter along the way. The point I want to hammer home is that all of these challenges can be overcome if you have a strong reason as to why you want to attend medical school and become a physician. For me, this stems from my passion for 1, the science that underlies medicine; 2, my desire to make a positive and tangible impact on people's lives each and every day in my career; and 3, my desire to have a career in which teaching and educating is at the heart of what I do. My biggest advice to you is to take some time to think about your reason for wanting to attend medical school, because this will make the long road ahead much easier. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, you do not have to go through this process alone. MCAT Mastery has one-on-one private tutoring sessions that can provide extremely valuable advice about how to prepare for the MCAT, as well as effective section-specific strategies. And MedLife Mastery Consulting can help you with other aspects of the admissions process. I know all of you are more than capable of getting into medical school, even if you're like me and decided on this path later than usual. You've got this.